Buongiorno, you might have made cauliflower cheese in the past. Today I will be adding broccoli to it, but the cheese sauce will include some Stilton, and also I'm going to add some Lee and Perry Worcester sauce. The spelling is not Worcester, but that's how they pronounce it in the UK. Here is Worcestershire, which is the, I cannot even pronounce it, is Worcestershire, which is the county, I believe. And it will be done in the oven. I'm not dealing with the broccoli, this is the little trunk. I'll just remove the outer layer and keep the middle, which is very good. And if you take a look, I've chopped them in relatively big florets, as I will boil it first and I don't want it to disappear. The cauliflower comes from our garden. You can see it's not something you would normally buy from the supermarket. They are little florets, but they're very good. So I'll be using all three. I have removed the leaves, but I will also be cooking them. And if you buy cauliflower, do not throw them away. Cook them because they're really good and very flavorful. Now this one here, I'll just go ahead and remove this part. This is not worth keeping because it's very thin and it's not going to be any good, but I'll just keep the floret. And likewise, I'll chop in relatively big parts, and I'm going to give it a wash, especially the cauliflower, as this has been organically grown without any pesticides, and the likelihood is that there is the odd little bug in there, and this is a vegetarian recipe. I'm purposely using a smaller pot as I do not want to add too much water. I'll start by adding my leaves first, so they can go at the very bottom, followed by all of the rest of the vegetables. Pinch of salt, followed by some water, and I'll pour enough to cook everything. So even if it's not totally covered, it doesn't really matter. That's pretty good. And I'll got here some vinegar. This is cider vinegar, but any vinegar, as long as it's not red, is fine. And this is to stop the smell going everywhere in your house, but also the bitterness from the cauliflower and the broccoli will be balanced by the vinegar. So I'll turn this on now, and I'll wait until it reaches the boil, and then once it starts boiling, 4 minutes. In the meantime, I'll work on my cheese sauce. I mentioned Stilton. That is because it goes really well with broccoli and cauliflower. But if you're not a big fan of Stilton, especially this one, this is really mature. If I was to leave it any longer, it will just run away from me. Do not use any, or use any other cheese you like, but you can just make a cheese sauce without any cheese, and I'll show you. But obviously, if you like Stilton or gorgonzola, that is also very good. You can use sweet or picante, which is the spicy. So a little knob of Stilton in there, and I'm going to add 500 milliliters of cold milk, 500 there. This is skimmed, but you can also use whole milk or skimmed if you like. And whilst everything is off, I'm going to add 50 grams of plain flour. And as the Stilton is quite strong and salty, I'm not going to add any salt. But if you didn't add any cheese, just a little pinch of salt. I'll turn this on maximum and I'll start whisking. As soon as you start whisking, the flour will be absorbed by the milk, but also as the milk warms up, it will melt your cheese. And there it is. You can see that the cheese has melted, has plummed, and the milk has thickened up. So I'll continue mixing until it starts boiling now. And the first few bubbles are beginning to appear. So I'll turn it off, but I'll continue mixing it for another 20 seconds. Okay, so here's the lid. This is ready for later, and I'll put it on one side. In the meantime, my vegetables have started to boil, so lid goes on, 4 minutes from now. And there it is, look. It's between fully cooked and blanched. If I just show you, you definitely do not want to cook it all the way, as this will be cooking in the oven. I just get a piece of cauliflower, and it's very crunchy al dente, which is perfect. So I'll put this on one side and I'll cook a little onion with some chilli next. I'm now in the process of chopping a couple of small onions in tiny little pieces, or you can use a large onion, red or white, entirely up to you. Here is my chili pepper. I'll just simply slice it into little pieces, seeds included, and I've got some chili flakes, and I'm going to add them on top of my onions, just a little pinch. The chili pepper will add brightness, whereas the chili flakes will add depth. You can add one or both or neither, entirely up to you, but they actually do give a nice flavor to the cheese and to the cauliflower and broccoli. So here I've got a little pan. I'll turn this back on again, and having added some olive oil, I'm going to put all of my chopped onion and chilies inside it. Couple of tips: do not touch your eyes after you have chopped your chili pepper. Immediately go and wash your hands, and as you start cooking the chili flakes, the fumes can make you cough, so just keep your distance just for a couple of minutes. The onions will take approximately 4 minutes until they are cooked, and you will know they are cooked because they'll be lovely and soft. And I'm ready to continue. The first thing I'll do is to remove the leaves from over here, as I'm going to be pouring some of my cheese sauce, and I think they're going to get in my way. So I will not be adding it all, approximately 2/3. So in it goes just like this. And I'll keep the rest for the top. Likewise with my onions, I'll add a good 2/3. That's good. Ensure that the bowl, of course, is big enough. Here is the oven dish I'm going to be using today. The first thing I'll do though is to just arrange my leaves of cauliflower at the bottom so that they can go there. Perfect. And I'll pour everything in. I'm tapping it down, and I'm sure you will agree with me that the color is beginning to look really nice, and the rest of the cheese sauce can go on top. And once again, I'll make sure that I spread it all across. This is mature cheddar, quite salty, and it is my favorite cheese for this recipe because it melts beautifully, but also it's got a very contrasting flavor again against the broccoli and the cauliflower. So I'm just slicing it, arranging it across the entire surface of my dish, just like this. You can also use a milder cheese if you wish, something like maybe Edam or Gouda, or even mozzarella, entirely up to you. But yeah, cheddar is very nice. This is the remainder of my onion and chili pepper, which can be scattered on the top, just like this. And I'm nearly there. Time for the Worcester sauce. This is something which I actually add often if I make cheese on toast, and I really like it, and it does actually give a beautiful taste and flavor, even if you make cheese on toast. You can also replace Worcester sauce with balsamic vinegar if you cannot get hold of it. So this is nearly ready. The last, very last addition is going to be some breadcrumbs. Not a lot. This is just to ensure that my top comes lovely and crunchy when it comes out of the oven. So try to ensure that you don't put a lot, otherwise it could dry your surface. That is enough. And I'll turn the oven on. I'll make it 180 degrees, and fan assisted, or 200 if you've got a normal conventional one, for 20 minutes. I'll see you then. And we are ready. There it is, bubbling away, smelling really good. Especially the Worcester sauce does actually create a beautiful smell, and it's really hot, but I can't wait. I'm going to try some now, and I'll let you know what it's like. First of all, you can see this is the breadcrumbs. I've made the top beautiful and crispy, and I'll just give it a shot. There you go. This is why it's also important to leave your florets relatively chunky, as otherwise it will disappear. But it's too hot, so I'm going to use a knife and fork and be a little bit more civilized. Ooh, it's falling off. Hot. Hot. I'm not doing very well. Okay, the cauliflower cheese generally is beautiful anyway, but the immediate first thing that hit my palate is the Stilton sauce, the cheese sauce with the Stilton, and of course the Worcestershire sauce. It's really delicious and really hot. I should have waited a little bit longer. Make it and let me know how you get on. And it's a different way of cooking it, but it's fun. Thank you. See you later. Bye bye.